All right, so here are the traits and qualities of an ultra-sensitive individual. You may know some of these, and you may know somebody like this. Are you unlike most of your friends, family, and siblings? Yes. Co-workers? Who are those? Even from the womb, we are different. As soon as that cell gets together with the other cells, we are there. You've felt like an outcast all of your life, like you're on an island without Gilligan. That's how I've felt, alone. There was no one to talk to in the 60s, 70s, 80s. Finally, somebody got the idea that, hey, there's some people out here that are highly sensitive. Really? What's that mean? Okay, well, we're going to talk about what that means. No one seems to understand you. You understand them, but you can't talk about it. So the key is you feel them, but they don't know what you're about. Most ultrasensitives, or I will say all ultrasensitives, are intuitive. Some are extra sensitively intuitive, overly compassionate, overly giving, extremely emotional. Anybody emotional? Hey, good, because that's why we're here. We're alive to be emotional. If you're not emotional, as far as I'm concerned, you're not alive. Be emotional. But we are extra emotional. Overly giving, as I mentioned, or wanting to cry at the drop of a hat. I don't know about you, I'll be happy to admit as a gentleman that, if I see a panhandler, and we have plenty of them, even up in our neck of the woods, anywhere, I feel for these people. I'm trying to figure out how, I'm not going to house 1 million sensitive people or homeless people, but I want to do something. It tears my heart out to see this happen. I'm sure it happens for you too. But we feel their pain much more deeply than perhaps others do. The movie Knowing. Anybody seen the movie Knowing with Nicolas Cage? If you want a better picture of what's going on and what's happening to you on this planet and how it might likely end up, rent that movie, The Knowing with Nicolas Cage. It's a wonderful movie and really is quite moving. And at the end of the day, we're here to move things. Our emotions, other people's emotions, change their health, and whatever else gift you've been bestowed with. All right, you are ultra diligent, yes? Ultra capable, yes? Yet you can't seem to get anything done. What's going on here? Many of these ultra-sensitive individuals that I work with, they have these gifts and these abilities, and they're like, I don't feel like doing it. I can't get out of the house. I don't want to start anything. Do I have to do that? And it just goes on and on and on. Because you are nutritionally deplete, because you have energy damage to your body that can be repaired easily. You often feel the need to cry after watching those movies. You find that holding down a traditional 9-to-5 job is literally impossible. Here's my story. I'm sticking to this one. I worked at McDonald's for my first job. My mom got me the job. She worked there. I didn't flip burgers. I didn't like doing the greasy stuff. So they stuck me at the front, and I was the ticket taker. Do you remember, who can remember McDonald's when they had it? There was no cover. You just came to the front window, right? There's like 4 windows, and you check it with, and that was the guy. This is me. I loved it. I was so good at it. I was so fast. I won awards for doing this at that place. But the problem was, after interacting with my sensitive soul and about 300 people a day, 3 days a week, I literally collapsed. I literally became energy toxic. Anybody in this room believe they're energy toxic? Please raise your hands, all of you. Thank you. We are. It threw me out. I was down and out literally for 2 weeks. I could not get out of bed for 2 weeks. I'm 15 years old. My God, I was in great health until I started eating all that food for free, which they gave us free food. So that was my first job, and that was my first hit of, hey, you can't just tolerate the energy interaction with 300 individuals 2 feet away from you. But I had no clue back then what that meant. You often hear, see, and feel things that others cannot feel, hear, and see. Anybody having the ability to see spirits in their home or anywhere. Anybody see spirits? You see spirits, feel spirits, and great. That's your gift at work. That's your energy gift at work. You can feel vibrations at different dimensions and way, way beyond that. You often suffer from the classic ultra-sensitive conditions that the mainstream medical community would like you to believe are problematic and put you on medicines for. Anybody here have ADHD, or no, you know what, I'll take a show of hands in a second, I'm gonna list them all. ADHD, bipolar, boy, you're depressed, you can't focus, you have chronic fatigue. Anybody have any of these, or know people who have had these diagnoses pinned on them? Sorry, there's nothing wrong with you. I'm sorry, there's nothing wrong with you. You just are very sensitive. Now, that does not mean there aren't exceptional cases that need to be attended to. That does not mean that there may be a need for prescription drugs in certain extreme cases for a short period of time. That's what those drugs are designed for, to bridge into some other modality. That never happens. Mostly never happens. And chronic fatigue, by the way, is the hallmark sign that you are indeed an ultra-sensitive on this planet right now. Okay. As an ultra-sensitive, you're subject to many of the childhood diseases growing up. Anybody have, well, this would be back in the 60s and 70s, the Asian flu, the mumps, German measles, rubella. This all happened, by the way. I had all of those in a row after getting, of course, vaccinated for these things. I still have the scars to prove it right out here. Okay, well, that was from something else, from another vaccine. But we tend to suffer from childhood diseases like asthma. Why is that? Well, these individuals at this age are going, do I really want to stay here? So it's really about, you know, am I going to stay on the planet? Our soul is choosing. As we come in, we start realizing as a sensitive soul, like, my God, I don't know if I can make it. And some will leave early. Or some will stay on and suffer through the symptoms or work through the symptoms. Osteoporosis, low bone density. I saw so many lovely people today at my booth today, you know, to get to read with you and share energy. And there's so many people with osteoporosis issues. Well, there's a reason for that. Ultra-sensitive have sensitive energy fields, sensitive auras. Our energy field is sensitive and fragile. What's going to happen? The structure below it is going to be sensitive and fragile. Hence, osteoporosis is a classic event. Also, if you're taking the drug levothyroxine, you will be more prone to having those issues, but there are certainly some energetic issues associated with it. You're highly sensitive to fragrances, chemicals, medicines, supplements, environmental toxins, including that little gray substance they stuck in our teeth without our permission, by the way, at age 8. I'm talking about the mercury fillings. And I'm not here to lay blame, only to say that if you lived in the 60s, you went through that. And my parents thought they were doing the best darn thing for me. So they found a dentist who said, oh, by the way, your 8-year-old son has 12 cavities. Wrong. But they stuck in 12 fillings, and I still live with them today. And that's caused us some problems because heavy metals are an issue we need to deal with. However, it is what it is. So we easily become easily run over by heavy metal toxicities because we are so sensitive, by viruses, including Epstein-Barr virus, which is creating havoc to with sensitive people right now at this particular time. Candida, the other C word, if you will. Candida, we could talk about 3 hours on that one, and maybe sometime I'll get back here and talk with you about that. In fact, I am talking about it on May 28th in Phoenix. Okay, but Candida is the silent plague of the planet. Anybody know what Candida is? Yeast. It likes to live in our gut. We all have some. It's actually a beneficial organism, believe it or not. However, because of our drugs, our use of antibiotics, our stress levels, the foods we eat, and our sensitivity, and our sensitive immune system, which can't keep up with it, it can explode open. And when it does, your life is hell. It won't necessarily, rarely kills people, but I'll tell you what, it can demolish a life, and it does. So it is an issue that so many sensitive people have to deal with on a regular basis. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I had a gal who was so sensitive. We owned a string of health food stores in the Southwest for several years. And I had a gal that was so, you know what MCS, multiple chemical sensitivities, anybody think they have MCS? If you have Candida, by the way, and by the way, 80% of this audience does, an overgrowth. If you have Candida, that is the cause of multiple chemical sensitivity. If you have that, it's very uncomfortable. I had a gal that come up to the window. Actually, she had to knock on the window of our health food store to pick up her items. We had to bring it outside because she couldn't handle the smell of the ribbon. We were using ribbons back in the cash register days in the 70s. So she had to, there's no way she could come inside the store. And I know other people like that, perhaps you do too. As ultra-sensitives, we are the black sheep of the family. Is this correct? Yes. The black sheep, often bullied, abused, left out, ignored, disowned sometimes. Disowned. Sabotaging us. We literally have, I'm sorry? Black is beautiful. It is. All colors are beautiful. but the black sheep of the family. And I was the cuckoo doctor at the time because my parents were cool. They just said, "Oh, do what you want." I don't know what you're doing, but just do it. But my siblings, hey. Anyway, the good thing is that 30 years later, now they're calling me the cuckoo doctor to help them fix all the things that you're going through.